It was September 2019. I was in Mexico enjoying some tacos after a long afternoon. I checked my email and I opened an email from my guidance counselor. I had emailed her beforehand to let me know what was the principal response on whether or not I was going to be able to graduate early in January instead of June. And so I wanted to know if I was eligible to be able to take my online classes in order to graduate in January. And she comes back with the one response that I did not want to hear. I spoke with the principals. Unfortunately, they did not give me the green light on your plan to graduate in January. Look at the bright side. If you pass all of your AP classes, which I have no doubt you will graduate with 12 college credits, which translates to a full semester of college. Hence, you can at least graduate a term early from college. Whack. When I saw that email, I was pissed. I was literally enjoying some tacos and then I saw that email and I low-key didn't even want to eat tacos anymore. Like, if we were to be able to let people know that we were angry by letting smoke come out of our ears, you would have thought something was on fire with how pissed I was. I wasn't planning on going to college at this point, so those college credits were going to be pointless to me. And after a couple of back and forth with the guidance counselor, I ended up setting up a meeting with the principal on trying to convince her to let me take the online classes, or at least know why she said no. But I was in Mexico during the time, so I had to wait a couple of days, and I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't wait to get back home. A couple of days passed by, I get on the flight, I come back home, and now I finally have a chance to talk with my principal and have the meeting. I asked her straight away what was the reason why she wouldn't allow me to take the online classes to graduate early, and I'm not gonna lie, she was brutally honest. It's way too much work for you. It's too many classes on top of the normal classes you need to take in school. Plus, it's gonna be too stressful for you. I just don't think you'll be able to complete them in time. That's when I realized that the reason why she didn't allow me to take the online classes wasn't because it was impossible or because they didn't allow or, offer the classes anymore. But it was more so because she didn't think I could do it. And in my mind, when I heard that, I was like, really? Challenge accepted. Once I knew the reason, I became a master persuader for the first time in my life, and I tried to convince her on letting me take the online classes and just becoming the best type of like salesman or whatever you want to call it. I just became a master persuader, and it worked because she caved in and she let me take the online classes. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was so hyped. But then reality set in, because I realized that she wasn't wrong. It was gonna be a lot of work because on top of the normal school work that I had to do in school and the normal homework that I had to do outside of school, I also had to take 3 additional online classes outside of it, which came with its own homework and its own exams. Once I logged in the website and I saw all the modules, the lessons, and the exams that I had to take, I was like, what did I get myself into? But then I reminded myself that this is what I wanted. I wanted to graduate early, and this is the work that I need to do in order to graduate early. So I realized that I needed to stay 10 toes and get it done. For the next 3 months after that, I worked the hardest that I had ever worked in school in my whole life. I went to school, I got my work done, then I headed home, and instead of playing the new Call of Duty, which it was so tempting for me to play during that time, I instead opened up my laptop and got straight to doing my online classes. And the thing with these classes is that it wasn't like the classes would unlock on certain dates. Like, for example, week 3 a class would unlock. It wasn't like that. It was more so as long as I completed one lesson or module, I could go on to the next one. So basically, I could finish all the classes early as long as I passed my lessons with good grades and I also get good grades on my exams. So my goal was to finish these classes as fast as I could because I had also started late because school started in September and I had gotten access to these classes in late October. So I was basically 2 months late already and I needed to get these things done by January. I worked so much on these online classes that I even took them while I was in school during my free time. Like whenever I had lunchtime, instead of hanging out with some friends or going out in recess, I would stay in school and I would like go to like some classroom for my teachers and I would ask permission, like, can I use your computer to do my online classes? And they would let me do it. I was so stressed because January was getting closer and closer and I needed to get these classes done. Like I was literally so stressed to the point where I honestly think that I was getting so much breakouts in my skin. Like my skin during that time was terrible. But during that time, I had 3 things that were driving me. One was the future that I was looking forward to. I wanted to see myself working and earning money by the time it was February instead of being in school. I also wanted to see myself waking up late and not having to wake up at 6:30. That idea of waking up late or waking up whenever I wanted to was so motivating that this was one of the things that was driving me. The second was the future that I was running away from. I didn't want to see myself in February being in school and sitting in a classroom doing work that was not only boring, but at that point I would also see as unnecessary or pointless because I was not planning on going to college anymore at that point. Because at that point in senior year, you're learning about AP calculus and all this, AP history. And I knew that all of that was not going to be useful in my life at that point. And the third was the time frame. I needed 5 months to complete the online classes, but since I started in late October, I was basically 2 months late. And so I basically had 3 months to complete these online classes. I was already behind. And so this gave me a sense of urgency. I could not waste any time. These three drove me so much that I literally used all of the free time that I had both in school and at home to finish those online classes in order to graduate in January. And I'm glad to say that it worked, because by the beginning of January 2020, I had finished all 3 of online classes completed 100%. I was so happy because my goal was accomplished. All of the hard work had paid off. And not only that, but I also proved my principal wrong. Those 3 things that drove me so much during that time are the exact same things that I use to this day and are actually what high performers use to not only do hard things, but to kill their laziness. And I'm gonna go more in depth in this video, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know how you can force yourself to do hard things even when you don't feel like it. So the first one is vision. This is what sparked my desire to graduate early. This is what sparked my desire to do the online classes on top of the normal schoolwork that I had to do, which basically meant that I had to do a ton of work. This is what pushed me through all of the stress. I had a future to look forward to. My vision at that time was to graduate early so that I could start to work more and start to earn more money. Which, by the way, I didn't even mention, I had a job as well during this time. I was working a part-time job during that time for the first time ever. It was my first job. So that just lets you know how much stress I was going through. Going to school, getting the online work done, and then going to work. I was also lazy as fuck during that time. And so the idea of waking up whenever I wanted to, or just waking up late, like at 10 or 11 a.m. was so motivating to me. It was just like fascinating to me during that time. I wanted to graduate early because of it as well. All of this gave me the desire to want to graduate early and get good grades both in my online classes and in school, so that I can get out of school and finally be done with it. Creating a vision is a non-negotiable. It's literally a requirement. Without it, why would you even desire to do anything hard in the first place? Like, for what reason? If I knew that I could not achieve my vision of graduating early, why would I take the online classes? Like, imagine if my principal would have told me this: sorry Brian, you won't be able to graduate early, it's not allowed anymore, but you can still take the online classes and gain extra credits for college. I wouldn't have took them because it wouldn't have been a part of my vision, so the desire wouldn't be there. Create your emotionally connected vision. Write down what you want your future to look like in the next 3 to 5 years. Take as much time as you need to, and don't think about it either. Forget for a moment on how it will get done. Just be as imaginative and as creative as you can. Don't worry about the how it will get done, just worry about what you want to be done. Then create a vision board. Grab 5 to 8 images of your vision, which you can get on Google, and then go on an app like Photoshop or even on Canva, which is free, and then paste all the images there, make it like a collage, and then download it and either print it or just paste it all over your devices, on your phone, on your laptop, anywhere that you use like a device, like even on your PlayStation, whatever. Use it as a wallpaper. That way you can see every single day, because this is the vision that you're working towards. I see my vision every single day because I use the daily levers, which is what I created to help me reach my goals and organize my tasks. It helps me see my long-term vision and my short-term vision, and helps me prioritize my important tasks to make sure that I get what's high impact done. It not only motivates me and gives me the drive every day when I see it, but it also eliminates the stress of unorganized tasks, and it gives me clarity. If you haven't gotten it already, get it down below. It is 100% free. Now, this next one is unconventional but highly effective. The reason why is because in every single self-help book that you read, you are never told to focus on the negatives. You're always told to focus on the positive and to visualize a positive future. You rarely ever hear a self-help guru say that you need to focus on what you don't want. But what I realized is that seeing what you don't want is extremely powerful. When I was taking my online classes, I had a vision of the future that I didn't want to live. That vision was waking up early on a Monday morning, taking a crowded bus and sitting in a classroom during spring, taking boring classes, reading boring textbooks. All of this drove me towards the future that I did want. This is why it is important to not only create a vision of the future you desire, but also a vision of the future that you would despise to live. An anti-vision. This is the vision that you're running away from, the vision that you don't desire to live. I've noticed one thing from watching a lot of podcasts or reading a lot of books is that most driven people have both of these two things motivating them every single day. They have a vision they are looking forward to living, and a vision that they're making sure they never live. So write down in detail as best as you can the life that you would despise to live. What do you do on a daily basis? How are you doing financially? How is your social and love life? How do you spend the weekends? What major struggles do you face? Write it all down, all of it. What would be hell on earth for you? What type of life would that be? Then after that, create an anti-vision board. Grab 5 to 8 images of the life that you would despise to live. So if you would despise being lonely, grab an image of a lonely person. If you would despise being broke, then grab an image of an empty bank account. Like I said in the first one, use either Photoshop or Canva and create this vision board. But there's one thing you're gonna do different with the anti-vision board. Don't view it every single day. I do believe that what you focus on the most, you attract. Focus more on your vision and the vision board that you created for that vision. View that vision board every single day. But when it comes to the anti-vision board, don't view it every single day. I would say that you should view it a couple times a month. And it would be mostly helpful if you view it whenever you feel the most down or whenever you feel the least motivated. That way you can remind yourself of the vision or the life that you're heading towards if you don't take action. Now, this third and final one is going to be the one that causes you to take action and not procrastinate. Think about when you were in school and were given an exam to take and you were given 1 hour to finish the exam. Did you ever sit there and procrastinate? Like, did you ever sit there and think, I'll just do it later? I'm willing to bet most likely not. It's because you had a deadline to finish the test in an hour, and if not, it was going to be an automatic fail. When I was taking the online classes, my deadline was January. If by January my classes were not done, I was not going to graduate early. And so I had a 3-month time frame to finish those online classes. This created a sense of urgency. I realized that I couldn't waste any time because I didn't have any time to waste. I couldn't push back the classes and procrastinate a lot and be like, oh, I'll do it later. I couldn't do any of that. When you create a vision, you also need a sense of urgency to take action, because if not, you'll just do or take action whenever you feel like it. You need to set a time frame for when you plan to achieve this vision that you have. It could be 1 to 2 years, or it could be 5 to 10 years, depending on whether it's a long-term vision or it's a short-term vision. This is extremely beneficial, especially if you are in your 20s. For instance, you have a vision of wanting to be financially successful, making smart investments, and never having to work for someone else. Your vision overall is to be set by the time you are 30, so that when you have kids and a wife, you won't be struggling to make money or to take care of them. This will cause a sense of urgency to take as much action as you can when you're in your 20s, so that by the time you're 30, you are set. After you're done setting the time frame of how long you think it's going to take to accomplish this vision, break it down even smaller. Create 12-week goals. This makes you take action even more, because now instead of having to accomplish a yearly goal, you need to accomplish a goal in 12 weeks. I highly recommend that you read the book 12-Week Year, which goes more in depth into this. But to summarize it here, you need to break down your 5 to 10 year vision, which is called your long-term vision, into 2 to 3 year vision, which is called your short-term vision. And then from there, you break it down even more into a yearly goal. And then from the yearly goal, you break it down even more to 12-week goals. That way, every 12 weeks, you're working towards a goal that's going to accomplish the 1 year goal, which is going to accomplish the 2 to 3 year goal, which is going to accomplish the 5 to 10 year ultimate long-term vision. This is the sense of urgency that you need to take action and to avoid procrastination. I couldn't afford to procrastinate when I was taking the online classes because I had little to no time to waste. When you have all of these 3 things that I just went over in this video, you're going to force yourself to do the hard things even when you don't feel like it, because you're going to have a vision that you look forward to living, you look forward to creating, and you're going to have a vision that you're running away from because of how much you despise it, how much you fear of living that life. And you're also going to have a set time frame for when the vision needs to be accomplished. After reading countless books and watching several podcasts, I have realized that most high performers have all of these 3 things driving them every single day. Aside from being extremely driven, which is what you'll be after you implement what you just watched in this video, you also need to make sure that you remain disciplined, because if not, your desired vision won't come true and your anti-vision will. Watch my recent video that I uploaded last week where I go over how you can make discipline so easy, it's gonna be hard to be inconsistent. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. I'm out.